Welcome back. Well, it is the holidays, and some of us have to put up with an obnoxious relative for a day or two. You know who you are. The NHL players and owners, though, they can't even stand each other's company for an hour. Well, it may not be as dramatic as a fire, a protest, or a stock market crash, but Black Monday in the NFL still has its drama. All right, look, I'm going to be straight with you. PC and URI not headed to the Final Four. Frankly, they'd be lucky if they even made any noise in their conference tournaments, but tonight's game, it wasn't about that. And Merry Christmas, everybody. Celtics celebrating the holiday in Brooklyn this afternoon, visiting the Nets. And while we expected some holiday spirit, we certainly didn't expect any holiday cheer. The last time these two teams got together, Kevin Garnett ended up with a fine. 3 other players were ejected and fined, and Rajon Rondo was ejected, fined, and suspended. The spirit of the season.
Sports Team 10's Adam Bagni is live in the newsroom now with more on these plays. I almost felt bad for Sanchez in that play.
Oh,
almost.
Come on.
Almost.
I could watch that
but
over and over and over again. The Patriots beating down the Jets 49-19. That Sanchez debacle that you mentioned, part of 3 Patriot touchdowns in a span of just 53 seconds. When I asked Bill Belichick how important the #1 seed is, he paused and said, "I don't know. All that matters is how we play going forward." Yeah, guys, as you know, all day officials have been telling people, stay inside, don't go outside. And this right here is the reason why. I'm here on Gano Street in Providence, where police on the scene say this telephone pole went down sometime around 4 p.m. On the roads, highways, getting a little bit better over the last couple hours. You still, I think, need 4-wheel drive like we have, but getting a little bit better there. Side roads, though, still most of them impassable. You're not going to be able to drive. It'll be interesting to see when we hear from those officials, hopefully when they get up and get their cups of coffee over the next few hours, what they have to say about the whole thing. There, Frank, well, I got to tell you, I've been to a lot of Celtics basketball games here, Bruins hockey games. I haven't seen an atmosphere like we saw tonight in a long time in this building. 87-84, the final, as West Virginia tops PC. We're now joined by our Big East insider, Vin Parisi. Vin, this was an exciting game. PC didn't necessarily play poorly. They scored 84 points, shot 51% from the field. They just didn't get it done for the defensive end.
Oh, you're right, Adam.
And finally tonight, only on 10, it's the catch people all over the country have been talking about. Jason Repko's unbelievable grab for the Paw Sox. I was in the clubhouse last night, and I quickly found out I wasn't the only one who thought this was one of the best I've ever seen.
I gotta say that's probably the best play I've ever seen.
I think that's one of the catches I've ever seen. I'm being so close to it. It was awesome.
Overreaction? I don't think so.
He's looking up by the bullpen. He leaps. He's in the bullpen. Repko tumbled over the fence.
That amazing, insane grab by Jason Repko has taken the sports world by storm since it happened last night. The play has gone from McCoy to around the country, everyone wanting to know, how did he do it?
Kind of just jumped up and went for it. You know, like I said, I wasn't expecting to hit it hip high and flip over, but, you know, luckily my reactions, I caught it with my right arm, and I was able to flip over, land on my feet, and, you know, save myself from getting hurt. So it was a fun catch.
And it was more than fun for the Paw Sox players. Not only did Repko save a grand slam, his teammates in the bullpen got a front row seat.
Oh, my God. I mean, it was impressive. Just watch him jump and catch the ball and just go over the fence and hold the ball. It was really impressive.
Probably the closest I've ever seen to one of those that magnificent catch that he had.
And for those conspiracy theorists who believe that Repko might have dropped that ball, his teammates say they're just that.
Oh, definitely caught it. There's no doubt.
No, I didn't drop. He caught it.
100%?
100%.
2-1 delivery, breaking.
Unbelievable.
And you were just asking me, Allison, did he drop it? That's why I asked him.
How do you know, right? That's such a reporter question,
Right.
too.
And you know
how
there was 10,000 people there. If you weren't there early, you missed it. That was the first out of the game.
It was incredible. And it's been, I was ESPN was talking about it today, and it's incredible. Wow.
Awesome.
It was good to hear him too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Friars check in at number 15 in the 15-team league. For more, here's NBC 10's Adam Bagni.
It's the final media day for the Big East as we know it. Coaches from the league's 15 teams gathered in New York City today on the verge of major change.
Very mixed emotions the last 2 months, you know, because my identity has been in this league.
I've been here 34 years. There's absolutely a tremendous amount of sadness.
At this time next year, Syracuse and Pittsburgh will be playing in the ACC. Notre Dame is headed out too, and West Virginia has already bolted for the Big 12. It's all motivated by money as schools and conferences fight for a bigger piece of the pie.
Obviously, losing Syracuse, Pittsburgh is a blow to us, but that's something where the college landscape has changed, and you got to adjust and move on.
It's been the best conference in the country. There's no question about it. Where it's going to land here in the next couple of years, it's going to be one of the best, if not the best, going forward.
And with those major departures comes a mixed bag of replacements. Solid programs like Memphis and Temple, but also schools like Central Florida and Houston, who are far less distinguished.
I think a lot of those decisions throughout the country have been football engineered. It's not just the Big East.
We're going from what is unquestionably the best basketball conference to what will just be arguably the best basketball conference. But if you look at the coaches, if you look at the programs, if you look at the players that are in this conference, it's no need to cry for the Big East.
And the conference announced today they've signed new deals with CBS, ESPN, and here at Madison Square Garden. But the product in the arena, man, it's going to look a lot different come 2013. In New York City, I'm Adam Bagni, Sports Team 10.
NBC 10's Adam Bagni joins us now with Rhodey Student Reaction. Hi, Adam.
Hey, Frank. Well, Jim Barron never made, as you said, an NCAA tournament. And this year, he couldn't even make the Atlantic 10 tournament. 14 teams qualifying, a 16-team league. One of the many reasons and one of the many things that led to his firing today. In reaction on campus, it was just as strong. Jim Barron out as the head coach at URI, and there's no shortage of opinions out in Kingston.
Either on the court or as a coach, yeah, they need to change. You know, whatever their record is right now is unacceptable.
11 years, no tournament appearances, the longest stretch in school history. Reaction on campus almost universal, students telling us he had to go.
I'm absolutely excited. It's the right decision. It's going to be something that's going to spark excitement back into this failing program.
We have been, losing and everything this season. We haven't been doing too well at all, but it's crazy. But I think it's time for change.
After this season, after watching them just slowly get worse and worse, I feel like it's time for a change.
And the trust in athletic director Thor Bjorn seems strong as the decision now shifts to a new head coach.
I think that URI is going to make the right decision. I have full confidence in Thor Bjorn, and I think he's going to make the right decision with President Dooley.
Thor's a great athletic director, so, I love him personally, so, I'm curious to see who they're getting next year.
I think it's time for change, Sometimes you got to change things and hope for the better, for the future,
And the future now, Frank, is a search process, and they're going to have plenty of time for that. A lot of leagues haven't even started their conference tournaments yet, so a real opportunity to sort of survey which coaches are available. Live in the newsroom, I'm Adam Bagni, NBC 10 Sports. For the second straight week, the Patriots fell behind by 3 scores Sunday, but like they've done all season, they rose from the dead.
I'd love to be able to see what it looks like when we put together 60 great minutes of football. Today was 45, but it was better than 30 last week.
But as the playoffs approach, questions continue to linger. Can a defense ranked last in the league stand up in the postseason? And are these comebacks from major deficits good or bad?
Some days it's been better than others. I like the way that we answered today. You never want to get down 21-0, but if we do, we do, and we got to find a way to battle back.
We have to, figure out how to come out better, play better in the beginning, because, after that bad start, we played good defense.
It's really lack of execution, more so than anything. They're not doing anything special or, wow, we weren't prepared for that. It's just they're executing and we're not.
Yet, despite doubters, the Pats' regular season has gone about as well as possible. 8 Pro Bowlers, 13 wins, and now a #1 seed in the AFC.
That's very important. We love playing at home. We love playing in front of our fans, not having to travel. Things like that is huge for us.
We've seen number 16 win the Super Bowl. We've seen first seed teams win the Super Bowl. We've seen teams in between win.
When I asked Bill Belichick how important the #1 seed is, he paused and said, "I don't know. All that matters is how we play going forward." Hey, everybody. Well, we could all use a break this time of year, and the Patriots, they'll get just that. The Pats earning a bye week after shutting out the Dolphins on Sunday, and you can't underestimate how important that is. Extra rest for injured playmakers like Rob Gronkowski, plus only 2 playoff wins, and New England is back in the Super Bowl. 28-0, the final yesterday from Foxborough. Tom Brady threw for 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Stephen Ridley had a pair of rushing TDs, and Gronk caught a touchdown in his return. But maybe the most surprising of the whole deal, the defense was awesome. A season-high 7 sacks.
I thought it was a really good performance by our team today. These guys really did a good job. We had a good week of practice. They were obviously ready to go today.
And we just needed to come out, start fast, and get a win. The most important thing, and we came out and we done that.
One thing we will say is, everything rise to a whole nother level now.
Going into the playoffs, we won't be the only team going to the next level.
So who will the Patriots play next weekend? They're going to host the highest remaining seed who advances in the AFC. Either way, it'll be a Sunday game at 4:30. If Houston beats the Bengals on Saturday, then the Texans, they'll be the team. You can watch that game at 4:30 right here on NBC 10. Well, it may not be as dramatic as a fire, a protest, or a stock market crash, but Black Monday in the NFL still has its drama. 7 coaches and 5 general managers got the axe today, and today more football coaches were fired on this day than in the last 3 years combined. Rex Ryan not among those getting the sickle today. Sexy Rexy staying with the Jets for at least one more season. New York did fire GM Mike Tannenbaum. Jets won just 6 games this season. Also in the AFC East, the Bills among those looking for a new head coach. Chan Gailey was let go today. All 3 of his seasons in Buffalo, they were losing ones. Altogether, the Bills 8 straight losing seasons. They have been bad. And former Patriots defensive coordinator Romeo Crennel also among the casualties. He was fired in Kansas City. Chiefs chairman Clark Hunt says he hasn't yet made a final determination on Scott Pioli. That's the former VP of player personnel that spent 8 seasons in New England. KC an abysmal 2-14 this season. Well, when people stay up late, you know they're often grumpy. And if you remained awake for the Celtics games on their West Coast road trip, you probably make for some pretty bad company. The C's swept away over a 3-game stint, and in each game, they were blown out. That includes last night, the C's losing to the Kings 118-96. All told, Boston has been outscored in their last 3 games by 69 points. They're now 2 games under 500 and clinging to the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Celtics play again Wednesday night when they host the Grizzlies. And finally, there are multiple reports that the Red Sox have worked out Bobby Abreu. The 38-year-old even took some drills at first base, where he's never played. Abreu hit .246 with the Dodgers last year. Sox still have not finalized a deal with Mike Napoli after concerns surfaced over an injured hip. And I know you two guys are big Red Sox fans. Team looking old.
A little old.
Oh,
you think so?
Yeah, patchwork team. So we'll
38
see.
years old.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, everybody. All right, look, I'm going to be straight with you. PC and URI not headed to the Final Four. Frankly, they'd be lucky if they even made any noise in their conference tournaments. But tonight's game, it wasn't about that. Throw out the records. This is a rivalry game, arguably the biggest annual sporting event in Rhode Island, and it was a game for a half at least. The 125th matchup between these teams. The series started exactly 92 years ago tomorrow. Pick it up first half, Bryce Cotton, game time decision. He scores the first points of the game, though, 11 for him. But check out this throwdown by Mike Amon. Boom! Hooked up by Nick Milesevich, 2-handed slam URI, great in the first half. Later, the Rams are running, and Jordan Hare, that's what you call posterizing a 1-point game at the break. Ed Cooley, what'd you think?
We were terrible, awful. It's the worst we've played in all year. We were terrible. We turned the ball over. We didn't capitalize on offensive rebounds. We're not tough.
Tell us how you really feel. So whatever he said at the break, it worked. LaDante Hinton off the miss with the slam. He had 21. Kadeem Batts 23. Friars win at 72-57. Coach Cooley, what did you say at halftime?
It wasn't a time to go in and, be upset at our team. Our whole thing today, I told our guys, if they give me 40 minutes, I'll give them 72 hours of rest.
It was the first time we've played at Virginia Tech and at Auburn, but it wasn't like the crowd tonight. It was a great crowd. It was electric.
We play hard, and the rebound and the points and everything else will come. So I just try to play hard and get to the boards.
We felt good about the shots we were getting. We're just not good enough right now to make them.
Neither teams play again until late next week. Red Sox have signed a player you probably haven't heard of. He isn't young either, 37, but trust me, it's worth learning to pronounce. Koji Uehara, the reliever, one of the best in baseball last year, posting an ERA of just 1.75. That one-year deal is pending a physical. Well, let me ask you this. Can you imagine Yankees fans yelling, "Uke"? Well, it's more than a possibility. New York offering Kevin Youkilis a 1-year, $12 million deal. That's according to an ESPN report. Youkilis had the worst season of his career last year, hitting just .235. Big game coming up for the Patriots on Monday night. The Texans have the best record in the NFL. Pats will be without Julian Edelman and, of course, Rob Gronkowski. But unlike other teams in the league, the Patriots aren't often crippled by injuries. Even in a season where Tom Brady got hurt, they won 11 games. And I asked him yesterday why the Patriots can always weather the storm.
when you lose a certain player, a particular player that maybe have an important role, then it gives other guys opportunities. And the guys that try to fulfill those opportunities, take a lot of pride in getting their chance. And, once you get your chance, you never want to give it back.
Kickoff Monday night at 8:30. All right, coming up, more sports coverage you trust, perhaps the coolest use of replay ever to come to sports. We're going to show it to you on the way next.